Hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of the latest Stephen King adaptation, HBO's The Outsider. Let's do it. The Outsider is a crime drama mystery series from HBO. Based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King, the show stars Jason Bateman, Ben Mendelsohn, Bill Camp, Mare Winningham, Julianne Nicholson, Paddy Considine, Marc Menchaca, and Cynthia Erivo. Investigators are confounded over an unspeakable crime that's been committed. So that's ridiculously vague for a premise, so I'll give you a little bit more without spoiling anything. Jason Bateman's character, Terry, despite being a pillar of the community, the local baseball coach, is DNA proven to have committed a really horrible crime, even though there is hard, conflicting evidence that clearly puts him out of state at the time. Now, speaking of spoilers, I'm not going to be spoiling every detail of the show. I'm not going to go through every beat. I'm just going to talk about certain things that I want to mention. Having said that, I'm going to leave the spoilers to the end of the video. I will give you guys a very clear warning before I get to them. So if you haven't watched the show, you just want to know my thoughts but don't want to be spoiled, don't worry, I got you. Now, as a huge Stephen King fan and constant reader, if you will, I bought The Outsider right when it came out, and I liked it. I did not love it, but I enjoyed it. It's also been a couple years and I don't remember it all that well. Now, aside from the remembering thing, I feel about the show very much the way I felt about the book. I liked it, I didn't love it. But let's talk about the acting first. I really liked Ben Mendelsohn as Ralph, and I love that Hollywood is finally letting him play a good guy. That's novel. I dug Jason Bateman in his role. I wish he'd been in more of the series than he was. He also directed the first 2 episodes, and I thought they were really brilliantly shot. Mare Winningham, Paddy Considine, Julianne Nicholson, and Marc Menchaca all turned in really strong performances as well. Now, if you've read the Mr. Mercedes books or watched that series, you know there's that character Holly Gibney. She's also in The Outsider, both the book and the show. And being a fan of the books and the series of Mr. Mercedes, I was really curious how they were going to treat the character in this. I think I prefer Justine Loop's incarnation of the character on Mr. Mercedes to Cynthia Erivo's here, but that could also be because I had 3 full seasons to get to know that version of the character, whereas I only had like 8 episodes with this one. And while I may prefer Loop over Erivo, I think I prefer Erivo's performance of the sort of eccentricities and idiosyncrasies of Holly's character. I think she played them up a little bit better, and it's the better iteration in that way. Now, I had a love-hate relationship with the score on this series. I don't want to say that I like it. It's not catchy, I don't find myself humming it, and it's created with these sort of atonal horns, and it's uncomfortable, and it's unsettling, and it makes you feel off. But even though maybe I don't like it so much, the fact that I find it so unnerving, that means it's doing exactly what it's meant to do, so maybe that makes it brilliant. I don't know. My biggest issue with the series was the pacing and the storytelling. There were a couple episodes that straight up felt like filler. I don't think this needed to be 10 episodes. I think you could have taken various subplots, woven them into different episodes here and there, and then had just maybe 8 episodes overall. I think that would have worked better. And I'll get more into this in the spoiler section, but I found the finale to be really kind of lackluster. It just felt anticlimactic to me. Maybe the book was as well, again, I can't remember. But the resolution kind of comes halfway through the episode, and the rest of it is just characters tying up loose ends, which I should have been all over because I really like a lot of these characters, but it just kind of left me cold. Okay, so now we're going to get into spoiler territory. Again, I'm not going to be spoiling the whole series, but there are a couple specific things I want to talk about. So if you've not watched it, if you don't want to be spoiled, tap out now. Hopefully you'll come back later. We good? We good. All right, moving on. I really liked Julianne Nicholson in the role of Glory Maitland. There is a scene where she's talking with Ben Mendelsohn's Ralph, and she basically says out loud, and it's kind of, the subtext is that she's admitting it to herself for the first time, that maybe her husband Terry was responsible for the rape and murder of this young boy. And she delivers in that moment what might be the best performance of the entire series. Her reaction to her own realization that this could be true, she kind of says it and then just gasps at it. It felt like something Toni Collette would do in Hereditary. It was brilliant. And again, I don't remember how this went down in the book, but I really wish we had seen El Cuco, as he's called, in the human form with the hoodie and the melting face. That version of the character kept getting teased, but we never really saw it, and I would have liked to have. Instead, when he takes on the form of characters that we already know from the other actors in the show, it's just them, but then they're like growling like dragons, and it really didn't work for me. Having said that, at the end where El Cuco's face was sort of CGI phasing between the various hosts he had, I thought that looked really good. But I do have to reiterate how much the finale just really didn't work that well for me. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like the explosive finale I thought we were building to. The previous episode ended on this incredibly tense level, and while the finale picks up a moment later, the urgency was just not there for me. And then after the villain is defeated in a rather kind of lackluster way. The finale just kind of plods along for another half hour and then it's over. I liked The Outsider. Hey, it's HBO, they know what they're doing. And while I didn't love it, it's fair to recognize that I also didn't love the source material, so that's not necessarily the show's fault. Having said all that, if you're a Stephen King fan like I am, I absolutely think it's worth watching. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna give The Outsider. And I think I'm gonna give The Outsider a...
Hey, Gold. Pony boy.
Out of 10. So now I want to know, have you seen The Outsider? What did you think about it? What is your favorite Stephen King adaptation of all time? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. You enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. And hey, why not take a second, do me a favor, click subscribe and ring that bell to subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, all that good stuff. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.